Everyone's having a blessed Tuesday. So today for Plant Feature Tuesday, I'm going to go ahead and showcase this beauty. This is a silver. Let's see. The name is Peperomia Emerald Ripple Silver. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Like just I just can't even explain the beautiness of this peperomia. This is definitely my favorite peperomia out of all the peperomias. This has got to be the one. I just love her. I love silver plants, period. So, and then on top of it, she's so easy to take care of. You can't help but to love this plant. Um, I mean, just beautiful. That I've never seen. There's a lot of silver plants out there, but as far as the peperomias go, I just think this one is a beauty. Like, just look. Excuse me. So anyhow, um, whoa. Let me go ahead and go over. For one, you see I have her in terracotta. That's a number one thing you want to do with peperomias. They do not, they will rot so quick. I'm not going to, let's see, about two peperomias since I've been collecting peperomias. And these ones are the ones really, they will rot quick. You want to let this plant dry completely out. In fact, I let my peperomias, all of them, tell me when they want to be watered. Really, all plants will let you know when they want to be watered. But these ones you really want to watch. This plant, she will droop when she needs to be watered. She'll droop. Her leaves will droop down. Then it's time to water. But other than that, and then she'll plump right back up. Like she was just drooping down. She got watered I think 2 days ago, and she was drooping down. And then you see terracotta also wicks that water up also and takes all that moisture out the soil. So you want to make sure that you have her in some terracotta. You have really well drained soil, and water when this plant tells you to. When it's completely bone dry, then I give her a real good drink, and then she's good to go for until she's ready to get another good drink. You can even bottom water them, and they'll drink as much as they need. Peperomias are good for doing that. I bottom water them because they will drink up as much as they need. And once you see they've done that, pull them up out of there. I even take a chopstick with. I've learned when I'm bottom watering, because I pretty much almost lost a Sansevieria by bottom watering. What I've learned with bottom watering, because sometimes I let them soak. A lot of my plants, I let them just soak in the water with the fertilizer. Just let them roots get a good soaking. And then I pull them out, but I take a chopstick also and I stab the soil. Well, not stab, but probe through the soil to make sure there's no air pockets stuck in there, or water's logged in there. And sometimes when you stab through, you'll see more water coming out because now it's flowing through. I do it before, but when you're bottom watering, it's kind of hard to do it. Like when you water from the top and you probe, the water goes through. But when you bottom water, it's sitting there. So you got to sometimes take a chopstick or something that isn't going to, really mess with the roots, and just push through the whole, stab through the dirt, and to make sure that waters came out. And I even stab a little bit through the drainage hole, because sometimes when you use like rocky things, or I use orchid bark, pumice. I'm always using a bunch of different rocky charcoal. That stuff sometimes gets stuck in the drainage hole. So I staff through the drainage hole a lot of times also. And just to make sure all that water comes out, because you don't want no water sitting in that pot. Especially with peperomias, they can be finicky. That's why I only have a few, and there's some I want, but I don't know if I don't see them local. I'm not about to order them online, and there's just a few more that I want. But if I don't find them, local where I can see it and bring it home, and it doesn't have to be delivered, then I don't want it. I'll pass. But other than that, so for her, she gets bright and direct light, west window, sun. She doesn't need a lot of light either. This plant, I ain't gonna lie, like I've even had it far back from a west window and it still grows. She bloomed several times during the summer. But yeah, I pretty much keep my peperomia. So I have a glass little table, maybe not even it's a small coffee table, because it's too large to be an end table, but it's in between an end table and a coffee table, we'll say. So there's a glass top and and then the bottom is metal. So there's glass. So what I do is I keep them, and they're kind of like, because they are understory plants. What I do is keep them down underneath a glass table. So basically, there's metal at the bottom, and then there's glass, which you sit things on top of. So they sit under. Majority of them sit under the glass table. Basically, they're on the table, but there's like a metal piece on the bottom, and I sit them all there with like a couple of bowls of water, because they do like humidity, but you don't have to have exaggeration amount of humidity. They're fine. But I do keep bowls of water around them, and I keep them all together. So that table, the sun, it's right on the side of a west window, so the sun beams through that glass. So the plants that are on top are getting that sun, and then it pretty much, just like in nature, it pretty much, I guess what you call a dappled light. So the light is coming through, and it's like plants on top of them, and then that sun's beaming through there. And they do get a little bit of direct when the sun comes around, because I keep them on the right side of my west window. So when the sun does come around to set, it will give you some full sun for a while. But the way they're sitting down, they're getting that dappled full sun. So it's, beaming down on them, but it's not fully on them as if the ones that are on top. So they're getting, and then I have a lamp also that I keep on top of that table, and that's I have a 100-watt daylight bulb with 65K kelvins in the bulb. So and it's a LED bulb. I keep that on top of that table, and I put that on also. So there's like another little extra light, and that light beams down, because it's glass. It even kind of even gives them more sun, because it ricochets off the glass. If I'm explaining that right, I hope. Just like how mirrors, if you have mirrors around your plants, the sun beams off the mirror, or white walls. And I have white walls, so they're getting, a lot of different ways of light, but it's not direct, because it will burn the leaves. So that's how they grow in nature anyways, is they're understory plants. So I've mimicked kind of like how they grow in nature. So that's the light I give. The soil is very rocky, gritty soil, which I use for pretty much most of my plants. It's got perlite, orchid bark, charcoal, pumice, and just a little bit of soil. So I always say 20% soil and the rest is just it's a big old Creole pot. Earth Boy and Son, he's a YouTuber. Check him out. I love him because he's always doing adventurous things on his YouTube channel. But I believe, let me make sure I say his name right, because I believe it's Earth Boy and Son. Let's see. But he called it's like a lasagna soil, and I said it's like a Creole pot. I mean, it's like a gumbo pot, because gumbo, you throw in all kinds of stuff, and same with lasagna. But check him out. He has a nice, I love he's so positive and his energy is so good. Let me make sure I'm saying the name right. Earth Boy and Son, I believe, is the name for him. Yeah, he's always doing stuff. Like he says some real positive stuff a lot of time. So it's Earth Boy, Sun, and Rain. Go check him out. He has a nice collection of plants. He's always given some real positive, real positive stuff on his channel. I love watching him. He's funny too, and he comes up with some real creative ideas when it comes to the plants. But he does have a nice selection also. So check him out if you get a chance. I really like his videos. So yeah, but he was the one saying, it's like a lasagna, and I like to say it's gumbo. So, but yeah, so that's the soil mixture. The light, I told you pretty much. I just explained that. That's a long amount. I know I went a little too detailed, but that's me. And then as far as watering, I let her dry completely out. She droops when she's ready to get watered, and that's when I give her water. I let her tell me. She communicates. We have a little relationship, so she does communicate and tell me, Mama, I need some water. She'll start drooping, and I give her a drink, and she pops back up like nothing happened. So, yeah, don't be afraid to let your plant droop and let it tell you, especially when it comes to these guys, because otherwise you'll lose it. So, yeah, and let's see, terracotta pot, told you the soil. As far as feeding, I put the Jobs in all my plants, Jobs fertilizer sticks. And then I do have some Neptune seaweed, organic seaweed, and fish fertilizer that I've treated the soil with recently. I did that for my plants. Even though they got the Jobs, but the Jobs runs out, I'll probably end up putting Job sticks in there. Do another, because I did a round of all that fertilizer, and then I treat the soil with systemic bonite, systemic houseplant insect control, and then I also use another systemic, which I just got, and it's a once a year systemic. The bonite, I believe it's only 6 weeks or 9 weeks, something like that. But I did that, so everyone's getting, right now when I water, that's what everyone's getting. And then I won't do that again for a few months. And then I'll probably end up putting Job sticks for their, not this week, but maybe next watering. Not the next watering, but the watering after that, sorry. I'll put Job sticks through all of them, and those last for a few months. During winter, last winter I really didn't feed much. I fed my plants, but now I've learned a lot more since winter too. And I do keep, I have them under lights and all kinds of stuff during the winter, so they're still growing. They were growing last winter, so I'm gonna be still giving them the Job's slow release fertilizers, which I think are really good for the winter because it is a slow release. So, they're going to grow. They're not going to grow as, wonderful as they are during the grow season, but they still are going to grow. So you still want to give them some kind of fertilizer. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. Real easy plant to take care of. If you get a chance, if you want a peperomia, if you like silver plants, and it's just tough to get a hold of that silver sword philodendron, or they got silver, all kinds of different silver plants. Those plants are hard to take care of anyways, but this one is very easy. So if you like silver plants and you see this plant, grab it, because it looks like it would be hard to take care of, but trust me, it's not. Like I said, humidity, I keep bowls of water around, all glass bowls around all my plants. And if you're using one of those things that tell the humidity, I forget what they're called, but I'm like being super ghetto right now, but the things that you use, the little box that pretty much tells you the temperature and the temperature of your home and your humidity level. I have one of those. It's not going to show with that. It's good if you have a humidifier running 24 hours a day. It's going to show the humidity on that little box, but it really doesn't work to its true potential. Like it's not going to show the humidity of the waters in the bowls, or even if you have the water sitting in the mat, it might even show more with the water sitting on a pebble tray or something like that. But when you have the bowls of water, it's not going to show right away because it's a slow release into the air when you have the glass bowls of water. So if you're looking to put that thing by your plants to see what the humidity is in the air, that thing doesn't really work if you have a bunch of glass bowls of water around the plants. But trust me, for me, I always say all the care that I'm giving is what works for me, not anybody else. I'm telling you, all the care that I'm telling you today is what works for me for this plant. If you can take bits and pieces of what I do and go off of your environment and do what you have to do. But I'm in Sacramento, California. It's my climate's different, very different than other people's climate. You could be way up in somewhere else, and the care that I'm giving may not work for your environment, because the plants grow off of the environment that they're around. So you have to really keep that in mind. It could be the same plant, but and the care may be about the same, but you still gotta go off of your environment. I live in an apartment. My plants are all inside plants. I have west facing windows. The temperatures are different, fluctuates out here in Sacramento, California than they could be anywhere else. But when I have the bowls of water around and my temperature is 80 something in my, the heat is moving that water up. And then when it's cold, I still have those bowls of water and it's still giving them humidity, but it's giving it in a slow form. So that's just how I take care of my plants. If you want to go out and buy an expensive humidifier for your plants, that's fine. The humidity is not that bad where I'm at. It does get a bit dry. That's why the bowls of water help out. But other than that, the humidity is not that bad. And I'm in a smaller place also. So, of course, with all the plants together and then you have bowls of water, they're going to get some humidity out of that. So, I'm just putting that out there. That's how I take care of my plants in Sacramento, California. So, just keep that in mind. I always tell people, let the plant teach you, and it communicates, but you have to learn to hear with your eyes. And you can study, research as much as you want, read a million books, watch a million YouTubers talk about how they take care of their plant. But at the end of the day, you and your plants have to have their own relationship. So just, putting that out there. So hope I was very informative. I think I'm a little too informative sometimes, but that's just how I am. I like to get it all out, get the info out, and go over exactly how what all I do. The water sits out a couple of days. I don't have access to rainwater. I don't have the money to be going buying a bunch of waters. And I'm seeing people who do that, who have the rainwater, who have humidifier, the most expensive humidifier around their calatheas and their marantas and their stromantes and philodendrons, all that stuff. And you still see the marantas and the calatheas and the stromantes or whatever. There's still brown tips. There's still crispy tips. And so it's not funny, but them plants they crack me up because they are some straight divas. Like, you can spend all the money in the world, give them the best water that's, the rain, the purest water you think you're giving them, and they still gonna act up. So I'm not about to do all that stuff. That's on other people. They can do that. I'm not doing it. My plants, they all still good right now, and they all get tap water that's been sitting out for a couple of days. But once again, I'm in Sacramento, California. I live downtown. So it could be my water ain't that bad, the tap water. I don't know. I haven't really tested it, which one day I'm going to test it I'm going to get a little water kit and test it and see. But I do leave the water sitting out for a few days, and I leave the tops off, and there's water jugs sitting all over my house, all over the place. And the water just sits out, and then I water my plants with that. So that's it as far as care. That I pretty much went over everything, explained what type of water I use. And yeah, that's it. If you get a chance, grab you one. I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Bye.